Hello everyone, and welcome to what will be my first video on this channel that is not a stream. So for this video, I'm going to be going over some niche case uses that you can actually use the Dripstone with, and some small building techniques or ideas that you may want to use, or may want to give a try. So to start out with, in case you don't know what it is, Dripstone is a new hazard block introduced in 20W48A. It's supposed to fall from ceilings and deal damage if it landing on you, and if you were to land on it, it were to deal 4 times the amount of fall damage you are going to take if you were to fall from that height. So let's say you were to fall from a 6-block high fall, that generally would not kill you, but if you were to land on top of a dripstone or a dripstone spike, you would die, because you would end up taking 20 hearts of damage. So the first use case is right here, as decoration for caves and sewers. Just to give it some more ambience, I know that this is probably one of the most obvious uses, but I wanted to go over it just in case. But time to quickly move on to one of the next ideas. Oh yeah, it can also be used as like little rails in place of iron bars, but I wanted to skip over that one since that one's also obvious too. One thing that pairs well with is podzol and coarse dirt. You can use it to make a neat looking pathway, and the reason why I'm pairing it with dirt and not like stones is because dripstone actually does not pair very well with stones, and the actual like sound of this pairs nicely with the dirts, or like the other dirts in this family. And another use of like using coarse dirt and dripstone is actually in a garden bed. You can use it to make the garden bed have a little more texture than it would without it, thus making something that may feel like one constant color or like one constant type of like just block. It gets broken up a bit more, leaving it to look a little nicer, although you do have to keep in mind that you cannot put flowers on dripstone, so hence why I went with a blue scheme and used the twisting vines. Now let's go over to a niche case. Right here we have a cauldron, which, as you probably know, or if you do not know, Dripstone will actually fill up cauldrons with water or lava, depending upon what the source block above them is. As you can see here, this one's dripping water because there's water above it. But if you go over here, these ones are dripping lava. Come on, wait for it. It's gonna happen any second now because it happens quite frequently. As you can see, this one's dripping lava because there's lava above it. That is how that works. And it will actually fill up the cauldron. And if you were to actually interpret this signal as a strength, you can actually have it so that when the cauldron fills up all the way, you can actually have it do an action, such as pushing a block or just using it as a sort of pseudo-random timer, as eventually this thing will completely fill up and set off the piston. But how long does that take? It's more of just a random timer, thus what I would consider a niche case. Now, another and probably the biggest thing the biggest niche case that I'd consider this having is the ability to actually hide codes or messages in the dripstone. As you can see here, the ones that do not have lava above them are dripping water, and the ones that have lava above them are dripping lava. And you can have this be so that it's like a sort of code for a lever system, sort of like a lever code that a player has to find for a puzzle, or you can use it as a just like to hide a message. Like right here, this is actually the binary formation for H, so this is actually saying the letter H in binary. 0 1 0 0 1 0 0 0, that is H. And I'm gonna have to go to a different location for the next few ideas, so be right back, or I guess just 3 seconds for you. Welcome back. We are now inside of a cave. In this cave there's 2 different pathways, and this will be highlighting the idea of using dripstone as sort of a pathway indicator or hiding a secret message. This way, as you probably saw right there, this side is dripping lava. and this side is dripping water. You can use dripstone as sort of in like a natural way to signify which way is which in a cave. So like, let's say you want the way that leads to water to go to like some sort of other location, and the way that leads to lava to lead to another location. In this case, the way that the water leads to sort of a cave-in, which I will show you how you can use dripstone to make a cave-in look more natural, or how well it fits into a cave-in. And on the left side, I'm going to show you how you can use dripstone to sort of hide a message or a code so that you and your friends can protect something using like sort of like a lever code, or if you're a map creator, you can use dripstone to hide a hidden message. Let's take a look at the cave-in first. Now, as you can see here, dripstone actually fits in quite nicely with coarse dirt and gravel as a sort of cave-in, and then you can use the actual pointed dripstone to make it look like it's like some sort of extra pieces of debris or stone that is jutting out of the rock. Which I think this is one of the nicer uses of it, but that's just my opinion. Now let's go see the sort of code example I'm talking about. Now if I come over here, we can see that there is a series of 5 levers, and you may be able to figure it out if you just randomly flick all of them, but it's not likely. So as you can see here, there's 5 levers, but how do you get in? And if you look in here, it's sort of protecting a little diamond stash that either you and your friends may end up having. And your friend has hidden the message behind in these dripstone. And if you want to figure it out, I'll give you a second to pause it, because the message just sort of showed up. And the idea here is that the ones that are dropping lava are the levers that have to be flicked downwards, and the ones that are dripping water are the levers that have to be flicked upwards. So in this case, the message would look a little bit like this. And that would open up the door. You can see, it works. Or well, of course that works. But as you can see, it actually is a relatively decent way to hide a message, or to hide a code for a puzzle is what I would recommend using this for. Now, time to move on to the final and last thing, and I'm going to have to go to a different biome for that as well. See you in a few. Before I forget, as you can see right here, this cauldron actually did eventually end up filling up, and it sends a redstone signal of 3 out to the repeater, and then the repeater goes and does an action. Again, random timer, as in each case. I've timed this, and I think the longest one I've had to fill up was 12 minutes. But again, in each case, it really just depends upon how often this drips and what your random tick speed is, and a bunch of other fun factors like that. But it's still one thing that I could see someone using. But now we're going to head right on over to the last idea. Now we've come to a mesa plateau for my final and last idea of this video, and that is to use dripstone block as a form of petrified forest, or a sort of to make petrified trees that have existed long ago but have since died and become stone, and they were revealed over time as this plateau were to sort of erode away in the Badlands due to sand and other natural causes. So you end up having like these, what I personally think, they look decent structures, or decent looking trees that fit in pretty well with the whole barren wasteland. And if you would like to put in some sort of like dead trees or other forms of trees around them, I would actually highly encourage that, because these do look pretty cool in my opinion. And if you're wondering what kind of wood I'm using, it's jungle wood, because jungle wood is actually the one wood color that pairs nicely with this. The second best wood color would actually have to be spruce. If you're wondering why not acacia, it's a little bright in my opinion, contrast a bit too much. If you want, oak works kind of, but it's not as good as in my opinion as jungle is, as you're about to see here. As you can see, jungle looks the best with it, and it pairs quite nicely in low quantities with this in a sort of tree form. Hence why I recommend using jungle wood if you were to make these into trees. And that will now conclude this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you disliked what you saw, feel free to leave a dislike. I accept all forms of criticism, likes, dislikes, and if you have any ideas or if you want to see more videos like this, feel free to leave it in the comments, as I enjoyed coming up with ideas like these and sharing them with people like you who are viewing this video, and I just like sharing ideas. So if you have any ideas or want me to continue doing these, leave in the comments below, and hope to see you next time. Bye!